Hello, mighty companions. Hello, mighty companions. Hello, mighty companions. All right, don't have me in here by myself. That's the problem. Sometimes we feel like we're alone, that we have to do it all on our own. Want to welcome everybody online. I'm Earl Purdy, and welcome to A Course in Miracles, A Course in Right Thinking. Let me get my book. We're going to be finishing up lesson 71 in the workbook. Lesson 71, only God's plan for salvation will work, which is the same as saying only the truth plan for happiness will work. Only the truth plan for happiness will work. You know, even though I've said I don't know how many times in the last 20 years here alone, the introduction to the workbook, I realized that I really have to remember to take the attitude that it's telling me. And so that's why I go over it every week, because the Course says that the only way you're going to change your mind is not by analyzing. The way you change your mind is by remembering and repeating the truth to yourself. And do you know the reason why that's true is because what you believe about yourself is always the result of something that you have told yourself or somebody's told you all your life. And so people believe what they are repeatedly told, whether that's something that they're repeatedly told that they tell themselves, or it's something that we're repeatedly told that it looks like somebody else is saying to us. So if you really want to change your mind so that you can think in the same loving ways that the Course in Miracles is teaching, then you have to remember to repeat the interpretations that it's telling you to use in every situation that you're in. What does that mean? If someone is acting crazy, angry, upset, and you say you're looking at a call for love, that's giving you another interpretation to start using. So when you use that interpretation over and over again, no matter how you're feeling, then eventually you're going to actually believe that when people are going off and being unloving or doing something that you're making yourself feel upset about, you actually believe they're calling for love. So the minute you believe something is when you start perceiving it, and when you start experiencing it, and when you start to draw it to you in your perception. I'll say it again. When you accept something as true, that's when you really perceive it. So at the point you accept that person who went off on you in the traffic as being somebody that's calling for love and calling for help and calling for healing, and you really get that that's a person that's afraid and calling for help, calling for love, and calling for healing, then you won't get as upset about it. So you'll feel more peace, and you will attract more love and more peace and joy to yourself. Because you finally change your mind, you believe it's a call for love. So every time you are upset with yourself, then you'll start to be more gentle with yourself, because your mind will start to see your depression, your fear, your anger as a call for love. And so you will also be more compassionate towards yourself. So one of the main things that I watch people do a lot, especially since I counsel with people so much, is that they beat themselves up about not always being peaceful and loving. That they're really hard on themselves, especially if they're truth students, and they got upset about something, or they get mad at somebody about something, or they're feeling depressed today for some reason. Truth students have a tendency to beat themselves up about that more than regular people do, because we'll have more expectations of how we think we should be. And we don't realize that readiness is not mastery. Readiness is not mastery. Readiness is not mastery. There's seats over here. Readiness is not mastery. Readiness is not mastery. Because you're ready to be a more loving person doesn't mean you're a more loving person yet. Because you are willing to learn how to practice forgiveness doesn't mean you know how to forgive nobody yet. So because you're ready to do something doesn't mean you mastered doing something. So when you set the goal of being a more peaceful person, then you can't keep beating yourself up all the time when sometimes you act a fool. Or you get really angry, you really get upset. Because readiness is what? Mastery. All right, so how many of you all realized in the last week that you were not masters?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So, yes, okay. Look like we got there. So if this is your first time here, welcome, and know that absolutely nobody's trying to convert you in any kind of way. You don't have to believe anything I say. You don't have to accept anything I say. You don't have to welcome anything that you hear from the course. Some of the stuff, you might resist some of the stuff that you hear. Some of it might be hard for you to believe, and some of it might startle you. But you're not being asked to come here just to judge. What you will find out is if you use the ideas will show you that the ideas are true. I've never seen a person use the ideas, really use the ideas, and not get the peace that it promised. I know many people, including myself at times, read the ideas, which is good, study the ideas, which is good, but they don't actually use it. And so they don't get a chance to see that it works. So we left off when it says only God's plan for salvation will work. The Course is saying only love's plan for your happiness will work. Only the plan that comes from love, the plan that comes from truth. So I'd like to ask each and every one of you right now to use your own favorite term for a higher power. Your own favorite term for God. Whatever you want to call that, whatever makes sense to you. But it's very important that you realize that the Course in Miracles is about helping us in the sense of separation that we have from love and that which created us. It has the audacity to say we didn't create ourselves. And it has the audacity to say the reason why it looks like people don't have that kind of communication that they think they'd like to have with a higher power is that they are looking for an answer to come from a fearful creator, or they're thinking of it as a human being rather than thinking of it as an infinite presence of love and intelligence and oneness and all that we are. Nobody in their right mind wants to limit God to a physical form because there's much too limited an idea. Doesn't that make sense? You know, how can that which contains everything be inside just your body? So maybe there have been other things inside your body, but it wasn't God, you know. Okay, but that's a whole nother class. That's a different class. We'll talk about that one later. Because spiritual people never talk about the stuff people focus in on a lot more than anything else, which is sex and money and relationships. But we don't talk about those in spiritual classes, whatsoever. That's except you never know what I'm gonna say. Because I want to be related on with the truth at the level that I look like I'm living on. And so this, we left off last week. It's on page 121, lesson 71 in the Course in Miracles workbook. And it tells us quite plainly that if you try to follow two plans for your happiness, then your purpose is divided. So if you're trying to follow, what's the two plans? Here are the two plans. If you change, I'd be happy. It's plan number one. Plan number two is, I need to change, and I would be happy. Those are the two plans. But if you try to follow both of those plans, it says you're going to end up in confusion and despair if you try to do both of those. So you need to make a decision as to which plan you're going to have. The plan for your happiness is based on getting somebody else to change, or the plan that comes from you getting in touch with the power within you to create peace inside yourself no matter what's happening on the outside of you. I love the fact most people have forgotten that they can just feel good for no reason. Most people have forgotten they can just choose to feel good and feel happy for no particular reason. We forgot that we can do that. But I bet you've had that happen to you before in your life when you just felt yourself feeling good and there wasn't any particular reason. Then understand you can do that all the time. And the reason why most people are unhappy is that they're looking for what? Something or somebody outside themselves to change in order for them to feel happy, or some condition or circumstance outside themselves to change, then they will feel better. That's the plan that takes all of your happiness out of your hands, right? Then, okay, so we left off. Now, if you up to paragraph 5, it says, and I'm going to read it at first, and then we're going to hear what it says. It says, God's plan for salvation works simply because by following God's direction, you're going to seek your happiness, which is your salvation, where it is. And if you are to succeed, as God promises you will succeed, the Creator love promises you will succeed, the Course says, if you really want to be successful, you got to look for your happiness where it's really located. Look for your abundance where it's really located. If I'm going to find what makes sense, and if I'm going to find what I'm looking for, then I need to look where it's located. If I look where it's located, will I find what I'm looking for? Yes. So if you're trying to follow two plans, which is to change everybody around you in order for you to be happy, and at the same time you're trying to follow the plan that's telling you that your happiness comes from you, your peace is going to come from you, then it says these are two plans that are totally opposite. So what's going to happen is the result will bring confusion, misery, what's that other word, and a deep sense of failure, and what? Despair. I say it again. If you're trying to follow two plans, want everybody else to be the way you want them to be and act the way you want them to act in order for you to feel good, and the other plan, which is I don't need you necessarily to do anything in order for me to feel good. Me feeling good, it can come from inside myself. Then if you try to use both of them, it says you're going to end up in misery and you're going to end up in despair. And so when I'm studying the Course and I read something like that, then I tell myself, okay, Earl, where are you feeling confused? Where are you feeling miserable? And where are you feeling a deep sense of failure? And where are you feeling a deep sense of despair? So whatever part of my life that I'm feeling that in, then I know that I'm trying to follow two plans at the same time, and one of the plans I'm trying to follow for my happiness is wrong. How do I know? Because I feel what? I feel what?
Failure and despair.
I feel confusion, misery, sense of failure, and despair. So if you feel that way every time you look at your bills, then you know that you must be trying to follow two plans when it comes to your peace and when it comes to your prosperity. If you are feeling depressed in your relationship, if you feel like your relationship is miserable, then what does that tell you? It's telling me that I'm still following two plans, and so I'm confused. So that's why I feel despair. I feel despair because I'm following the wrong plan. If you have financial despair, it's because you're following the wrong plan. If you have relationship despair, you're following the wrong plan. If you have health despair, you're following the wrong plan. Why? Because I'm telling myself, unless this thing outside of me is a certain way, I can't be happy. you can be perfectly happy and sick. You can still go, I got this illness that I'm dealing with right now, but I'm still going to give myself peace about it. I'm still going to, there's a way for me to look at it that I can have peace about it. Oh, I don't care if I got $5 in the bank. There's a way for me to look at that I have peace about it. If I'm in a relationship, no matter what it looks like my partner or my friend is doing, there's a way for me to feel peace about it. Then if you recognize that, you're using the plan that will work. If you're coming up with the other one that has to do with outside yourself changing, then that's the plan that's going to make you feel confused and miserable and feel like that you are a failure. So all you have to do is work back from that feeling of misery, failure, and confusion to know what areas of your life that you're not practicing the right plan, that you're not using the truth. It's not that you can't have the things that make you happy, it's that you're following the wrong plan for getting it. So that's great. I'm glad to know it's possible for me to have prosperity, happiness, oneness, kindness, love in my life. And if it's not there, it's just because there's something that I'm doing wrong in the way I'm seeing things. It doesn't mean I can't have that blessing.
Cool.
Okay, so then it says, how can you escape all this? I love that. How can you escape all this? Very simply, the idea for today is the answer. What's the idea for today? Only
God's plan for salvation will work.
Okay. Only love's plan will work. Only love's truth plan for my happiness will work. So that's the idea that will answer it. Now, until you've actually tried this and tried this consistently, how can you say it wouldn't work? You know what I mean? It's like, if you haven't actually tried what I'm about to tell you from the course, how do you know it couldn't solve every problem that you think you have? I'll say it to you again. You don't have a problem that can't be solved. You don't have a problem that can't be solved. You don't have a problem that can't be solved. You don't have a problem that's not already solved. What you want to do is learn how to let go of the blocks to you being able to receive that healing and receive that answer. So what you're asking for is the removal of blocks. The removal of blocks, right? And this is true for any area. So what I'm saying right now applies to everybody. You just need, you know what area of your life you need to apply it to. Some of you could apply this to your spiritual life and your spiritual evolution. Some people need to apply this to their relationships. Some people need to apply this to their health. Some people need to apply this to their career or whatever. What's important is that you apply the same principle to all the different things that you think you're going through. The Course is saying, I'll say it again, it's easier to remember one answer than 1,000. It's easier to remember one answer than 1,000. If you need 1,000, you'll get 1,000. And there are plenty of people out there having fun with thousands of answers. But you could also say, guess what? I'm at a point right now, I'd like to have things a little bit simpler. So it's okay with me if you give me the one answer that I can use in every situation. But the first thing before I can bake the cake, I need to read the recipe book. So that's what happens when you come here. I want people to hear the recipe book. Also maybe help you apply, but I would venture to say most people who hear me go through things in the Course have never read it before or heard it before. Or if they did do it, they don't remember. Is this right? Is this right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay. Don't be ashamed. Everybody else is doing the same thing. Okay. Because it would work. And if it would work, then you would have peace and love and joy. And you know you don't deserve that. You know damn well y'all don't deserve that. So if you did what the truth said, you would have all the love and peace that you really want. So there's a part of the mind that thinks you don't deserve that makes sure you won't focus on the thing that'll give you what you want. Absolutely. That's what I was talking about. Many times I have people come up after class or online say, and it's all perfect, but they say, I was in crisis and I heard something from the Course in Miracles that came through you and it really helped me and I experienced a miracle and it really worked. And I never see or hear from them again. And that's in divine order. But you see what I'm saying? That's still in divine order. Why? Because sometimes you haven't gotten yourself to the point that you believe you deserve what you're asking for. So you got a lot of people asking for stuff that they don't think they deserve. And not only do they not think they deserve it, they're trying to change everybody else around them to give it to them. So then the Course says, well, the idea for today is the answer. That the answer is knowing that this plan will work and the other plan won't. He says there can be no real conflict about this because there is no possible alternative to God's plan that will save you. Your Creator has given you a plan to get out of any fear and conflict that you have. It's the only plan that's going to work, but the plan is going to come to you in the way you can receive it. So the plan may not always come through A Course in Miracles, but the plan is going to come. And the plan, but for those who happen to be here today, don't you think it would make sense for me to assume that they're here because for whatever reason they needed to hear the Course in Miracles?
Yes.
Is that a reasonable assumption?
Yes.
Okay. So that means that we're being told something that we were somehow directed right here to hear. And then he says, well, first of all, if you want to get rid of your conflict, just accept that only one plan is going to work for you right now, and that plan is the plan that comes from love and truth and freedom. And not only that, there's no possible alternative that's going to save you. See, if the once you realize that all the other ways are not going to work, then you can put all your attention into the way that will work, and it will happen faster because the way that will work is easy. The way that's coming from Spirit is easy. It's easy. It's easy. Can y'all even say that word? Let's try to see. I know easy muscles might not be up to snuff right now, but let's try to use the easy. 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 And simply. Right? Right? And so then it says, and not only is the plan that comes from your higher self the only plan that will work. I love how the Course says, it's the only plan that you can be sure of how it's going to turn out. If I decide I'm not going to attack you and you decide you're not going to attack me, I can tell you exactly how the encounter that we have together is going to turn out. I'm absolutely certain. If you don't want to attack me and I don't want to attack you, the outcome whenever we're together is going to be peace. So that's the plan that will work. If I want to have peace with you, then I can't be fighting and attacking you and criticizing you and judging you and going off on you. That is opposite to peace. So once I decide I want to have peace for you, I can evaluate how to act because of what my goal is. My goal is to be sane with you, so the part of me that makes me want to argue with you or change you or get upset with you, that part of me I know I need to not use because that's opposite to my goal, because if I can just keep peace with you, I can be certain how it's going to turn out. If we both want peace with each other, I can be certain of the outcome because I'm using the plan that works. And what is the plan that works if you want peace? Stop being such a butthole. Oh, I'm Swami Buttananda. Okay. So, of course, I'm black. Okay, now. So, if I knew not to use the plan that doesn't work, and I use the plan that I know do work, and I know there's no other plan that's going to work, then it's going to turn out just the way I want it to. And so that's the only plan that's going to succeed. It's the plan that's coming from love and the plan that's coming from truth. I don't know about you, but it looks like my mind is creating what appears to be sometimes chaos in the world and chaos in my own experience from time to time. And so I know there's many areas of my life that I'm obviously not using the truth plan, because I have a stubborn conditioning in me that wants people to be a certain way in order for me to feel good sometimes. Does anybody else in here have that? Where you have a pretty clear idea how you want somebody to be, and then things will be better. Okay, so what we need to do then is we're practicing. He says, what I want to get you to do right now, boys and girls, is to practice recognizing that things can definitely turn out for you perfectly. That your life and everything about you is going to turn out wonderfully. It's going to turn out perfectly. you're going to end up happier than you could have ever imagined. That is how all of this movie called Your Life is going to turn out. It's going to turn out with you having pure, perfect, complete happiness and joy in every area of your life. Do you recognize that?
That sounds great.
Okay, so we need to practice recognizing it.
Yeah.
So that's what we're getting together for. We practice it. Okay, I need to practice recognizing that, you know, my future's in the hands of God. My future's in the hands of love. So ultimately, everything is going to be all right. I don't always feel that way. So I need to practice remembering that everything is going to be okay. I need to practice remembering the certainty. Okay? Then it says, how do you do that? Well, he says, let's rejoice. So, okay, there you go again, telling me to be happy. What should I be happy about? He said, well, I want you to be happy that there's an answer to what seemed to be a conflict with no resolution possible. Be glad that there's an answer to the situation that you're worried about that you thought there wasn't an answer to. Be glad that whatever it is that's bothering you and you're afraid of right now, be glad that there is an answer to this situation and circumstance that you haven't been able to handle or change yet. There is an answer that you just have not been able to recognize yet. And you should be happy that there actually is an answer, even if you don't know what the answer is.
Yeah.
Be glad there's an answer, even if you don't know what the answer is. That makes so much sense to me. There's something about hearing the Course in Miracles with other people that make it come to life in a way that I don't experience any other time, even though I do it alone and enjoy it. Because, see, that makes so much sense to me. If you tell me that only Spirit's answer is going to work, and all the rest of the stuff I'm trying to change everybody else and everything outside myself is not going to work, and then I immediately realize that I just got the answer, and that what's happening right now is I need to practice recognizing everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be all right. No matter what's happening in your life right now, no matter what's causing nervousness or worry or anxiety in any way, there is an answer. There is a resolution. There is an answer. There is a resolution. There is an answer available to you no matter what you're going through right now. There's a solution available to you no matter what you're going through right now. No matter how you feel right now, there's an answer, there's a solution, there's a healing for you in that situation. The Court says, y'all need to practice being happy about that. Y'all don't know how to act happy about that. So you need to be happy that something just told you that whatever you're going through can be resolved.
Happy.
That should be, then when I think about that, it reminds me of a line in the Course in Miracles that goes something like that. Prisoners starved and emaciated on the desert. They haven't had any kind of water, food for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then the search party comes, the rescue party comes to you, and to save you, you've been finally found. He says you don't jump up and run around immediately. Right, if you've been on the desert for weeks and weeks and you were rescued, you wouldn't jump up and down because the rescue party got there. So that's what the Course was saying. That's the way we are. We're so weary from not having any kind of happiness that we could count on all the time that when love really does show up, we don't get excited about it. You know, that there's a part of us that's weary. And it's not, especially in terms of suspicion and not trusting. So then it says, all things are possible to God. Did that say all things are possible to you as a separate person? No, it says all things are possible to love. All things are possible to God. What is God? That which, I like that quote, says that which created you. That's such a neutral, great neutral term. All that is, that which created you. So Earl can rest again because I can go, oh, I might not be able to figure out how it's possible for me to have this situation healed. I might not know how it's possible to have this situation healed. I may have tried everything I know how to do to have this situation healed. I don't know how to have this situation healed. But to my Creator, everything is possible. So my Creator can do things that nothing and no one else in the human form and the human body can do. Your Creator can do anything. That which created you can do anything, including giving you You are healing in that situation that you're in right now, that it looks like you've been dealing with forever, and it doesn't look like it's no answer to it. There is an answer. There is a solution. You are just not the one who can pull it off at the level of thinking you're just a separate person and a separate human being. I say it again. At the level of being a human being, there are things that it looks like you can't do. But from the level of a divine being, which is that which created you, that which you are, then all things are possible, including a resolution and an answer to the situation that you're going through right now, that you should be rejoicing that there's an answer even though you don't know how to do it on your own. And I need people in my life who are also recognition retarded, who also want to practice doing this with me. That's why I say that at every class. I want people to come to the class and join with me or online who really want to demonstrate love, who really want to experience what real love and truth feels like, and they're willing to put the time and the energy into actually doing that. That's what, because you have to ask for what you want. So the Course says, then begin the too long, all things are possible, and I'm going to tell you why the healing must be yours. I'm going to tell you why the healing must be yours. It's because your healing is going to be according to a plan that can only succeed. Your healing is going to be done through a plan that never fails, that you cannot make up. All you can do is do what your part is, and then it's telling you what your part is. How do you escape this? Well, you remind yourself that only God's plan for your happiness is going to work. How do you do your part? Well, you tell yourself no other plan other than the plan of not trying to make everybody else and everything else to have to be different for me to be happy. I have to realize that plan is not going to work, and that the plan that's coming from my Creator is definitely guaranteed to work, and my part is to be happy even though I don't know how all that's going to happen. See, we're being told what our function is, but the problem is the Course is always asking us to do something we could do right now if we wanted to. And we're looking for a lot of doing. Tell me a lot of stuff out there that you need to do. You need me to tell you all the different rituals that you need to do out there in order for you to have what you want. And the Course is saying, well, let me relieve you. You should already know from your own confusion and sense of despair from time to time that your plan doesn't work. Or you'd already have pulled it off. So the ego, the wrong voice, tells you, well, my plan is for her to make me happy. It hasn't worked out, so the ego's plan would be, and because you could make me happy, the ego's plan would be, well, she's not doing it, and she's not changing the way I want her to, but you're going to do it. So now I'm looking for you to give me that happiness that she didn't give me. So I really didn't change plans, I changed people. And so I'll get the exact same result again, because that plan will never work, no matter how many different people and situations and circumstances. So he says, your part is to remember that. Your part is to remember that answer. Then he goes on, then the Course goes on to say, then I want you to be glad that you don't know what the answer is. Doesn't mean that the answer isn't there for you. Doesn't mean that the healing isn't going to happen. Just because you don't know how to do it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Just because you don't know how to drive doesn't mean somebody else doesn't know how to drive, and they can take you to the same location that you were trying to drive yourself to. So who cares how you got there? You had to be sure where you wanted to go. So that's what the truth is telling me over and over again. You need to be clear about what you want, because everything is going to turn out the way the goal you set is how everything's going to turn out. So if you want to know what's going to happen in the future, all you have to be clear about is what your goal is right now. What your purpose is right now is how it's going to turn out. The goal determines the outcome. So I hear people, including myself, all the time saying they want to have peace, they want to have joy, they want to be happy, but they want you to tell them how they can get their plan to work. And so the Course is saying to us, you need to realize that there's nothing that's impossible to your Creator. You can have answers to whatever is troubling you right now. Whatever's troubling you right now, there's an answer to totally and completely resolve it. also, this is plan that I'm about to give you is a plan that will always succeed. This is a plan that will never fail. I'm going to give you a plan that will never fail. So I want you to start out by thinking about this idea, only God's plan will work. And what I want you to realize, see, we're getting instructions. What I want you to realize is that there are two parts to the plan. You say you want to know your problems are solved. There are two parts to the plan. There are two parts to the plan. And each part makes an equal contribution to the whole. There are only two parts to the plan. There's so many parts. No, there's only two parts to the plan. You're asking me to do too much. No, there are only two parts to the plan to have all your problems solved. You're going to have to really pull on your love for yourself to get through the rest of this class. I'm telling you. You got to really pull on your belief and your desire that you deserve to be happy, or you will be tempted to tune out of every single thing I say that would answer your problem right now. I'm just warning you, I've been doing this 45 years. The easier the path gets, the harder it is to keep people's attention. That's right. And I'm not going to be trying to keep anybody awake, because I'm going to keep telling you the truth whether you're asleep or awake. So just look at me as being the ultimate spiritual babysitter that you're safe with. Well, I will admit, maybe I will rub your head while you sleep. Everything's going to be all right. Okay? So then the Course says, God's plan for your happiness will work. Here are the two parts. See, people miss the humor of the Course. People miss the humor of the Course. Y'all want to know what the two parts are? Yes. God's plan for your happiness will work, and other plans won't. Think about what I just said. Oh, there are two parts to the plan for your peace. My plan is going to work, and your plan won't. And you need to recognize that, because both of those give equal contribution. The more you realize yours won't work, the more you'll use God's plan. And the more you realize God's plan will work, the more you'll use God's plan. But the thing that'll help you the most is to get what? Spirit's plan is going to work, yours won't. Spirit's plan is going to work, yours won't. Love's plan is going to work, fear's won't. Innocence plan is going to work, guilt's plan won't. Separation plan will not work, that we're all separate from each other. That will not work. The oneness plan will. We need to get clear so that we'll stop wasting our time on plans that won't bring us the peace and love that we want. All it takes is understanding there's two parts to the plan. The plan that's coming to me from the truth, love, God is going to work. And the plan that didn't come from that isn't going to work. And then the mind always goes, what is the plan that won't work? If this were different, I'd be happy. That's the plan that won't work. Do I like that plan? You know, some people can be so deceiving. Can I just talk to y'all for a minute? That they'll tell you that they want to be what you want them to be. They'll actually say, I just want to make you happy. Just tell me what you want. Tell me how you want it. They encourage you to change them for your happiness. And then that further makes you think your happiness depends on them being that way. And then when they're not, your feelings get hurt. And you get upset because you feel like you've been deceived. And you were. But you weren't deceived by them. You deceived yourself. How did you deceive yourself? You told yourself your happiness came from them being different. So they didn't deceive you. You deceived you. You're the only one that deceives you. So what this is doing is telling us the truth. What else did it say? He said, don't allow yourself to become depressed.
Or angry.
Or angry. Don't allow yourself to become what? Depressed or angry. At the second part. The Course says, now you always have a tendency to get the most upset about the second part. The second part is your plan isn't going to work. Your plan is not 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 going to work. Only the truth plan, God's plan, your higher self plan is going to work. And guess what? The second part is inherent in the first part. The second part is my plan won't work. And the first part is saying only Spirit's plan will work. And then the first part is what? Your full what? Release. And the first part is your full release. Now, what are you trying? People go, well, Earl, what is it that I'm trying to be released from? We hear all this stuff about release. What is it that I need to release? Well, the Course says, I really am giving you a plan that's about the full release from all your own insane attempts to make yourself happy. I'm trying to free you from your own insane attempts to make yourself happy by believing something needs to be different and somebody needs to be different in order for you to be happy. I'm trying to release you from your insane plan, which I love the way the Course says it, and mad proposals to free yourself. Do you know that you have mad proposals to free yourself? What do you mean? Well, my mad proposal to free myself from my sadness is to get you to do certain things to make me happy. That's my mad proposal to free myself. And in the beginning, we're going to promise to each other probably that we're going to do that. We're going to lie to each other that's as big as we can because I'm trying to get you. So I'm going to tell you what you want to hear to get you. And who don't want to hear, I'll do whatever you want. Tell me in the way you want it. I will not only do it, I'll add some extras that you didn't even think of. And you imagine how many extras I could add at my age. I got a lot of extras built up. Right? And then you believe it. You believe it. And then when that person stops acting that way, then you feel betrayed. But they didn't betray you. You deceived yourself. Woo! Did I say, woo? Woo! Telling you. Oh, my Jupiter is rising. In front of mixed company. Thank goodness my Uranus squares it. And when all that's failed, you can depend on Uranus. Don't laugh, you'll die. So why am I feeling depression? Why am I feeling anger? I'm feeling anger and depression because I have these insane things I'm trying to do to make myself happy. I have all these mad proposals to blame to free myself. And so since I have these insane proposals to free myself, I'm going to get the world to be the way I want it to be and everybody to be the way I want it to be. And I want everything to change the way I want it to change. And it's not happening. So it's led me to depression and I'm PO'd. I'm angry. I'm depressed and I'm angry. But I need to remember the universe's plan will succeed. How can you tell? How can you tell when you're following God's plan? She says, well, it's easy. You will feel released and you will feel joyful. When you're truly following your true guidance, what are the two things you'll feel? Released and happy. Released and joyful. Where are you feeling released and joyful in your life? Okay, then then all the areas that you're not feeling relief and release and joyful, you are still trying to use your insane attempts and mad proposals to free yourself. And what is your insane attempt? What is your mad proposal? If this were different, I would be happy. If they were different, I would be happy. If this circumstance I'm going through right now, if that changed, then I feel better. That's the mad proposal. That's the insane. Could you imagine how cool it would be to be in a friendship or a special love relationship with someone who did not believe their happiness depended on you? Nice. And just the sound of it sounds good. It's like, oh my God, you're not holding me responsible for the way you feel all the time, and I'm not holding you responsible for the way I feel all the time. You know, then that means that when we have a misperception because we're using the wrong plan, then we could just tell each other, you know what? Give me a minute. I need a minute. Let me go back and get back centered again into what the truth is. Then let us talk again about this thing that just came up. That's what two conscious beings do. They go, you know what? Right now I'm feeling kind of crazy, and I know I need to do some work on myself to change my mind because you are not responsible for how I'm feeling right now, but I sure feel like you are. So I got a mad proposal, which is to run you over with a truck. That's going to be my insane attempt. 20 years. Why you run over your husband? That was an insane attempt to free myself. Right? Yeah. Then it says right here, remembering, it says this will lead to release and joy. And remembering this, remembering what? That God's plan will succeed is going to give me the release and joy I'm looking for. He says, then what you do is you devote the remainder of the extended practice periods. What do you do next? What do you do next? What do you do next? What do you mean? What do you do when you're feeling depressed and angry? What do you do when you know you need to remember that the plan of the universe will succeed? And you know that when you're doing it right, you'll feel some level of release and joy. So what do you do after that? He says, well, the next thing I want you to do is to ask God to reveal God's plan to us. I'll say it again. I'm feeling depressed and angry right now. I'm feeling sad right now. Then I need to ask my Creator, would you reveal your plan to me? My Creator, would you reveal your plan, the divine plan to me? Universe, would you reveal the divine plan to me? My greater self, will you reveal the divine plan for my life to me? God, would you give me your plan? Creator, would you give me your Creator? I'm depressed and angry. Will you give me your plan? Because I know all things are possible to you. And that you would never ask me to do something that I wasn't willing and able to do. The Course in Miracles says that your higher power will never ask you to do something that you are not willing and able to do. That your higher power is going to ask you to do what you're willing and able to do. You know why your higher power would ask you to do the things you're willing and able to do? Because then it would be done. Then it would be done. If I ask you to do what you're willing and able, what you're willing to do and able to do, but then it's going to get done. If I ask you to do something that's the opposite of everything you want to do, then I'm going to waste a lot of time trying to convince you to do it. That's why, if I was in a relationship or a friendship with someone, I would try to remember we were having problems to first get clear whether we even wanted to solve them. That we really wanted to join and we wanted to get past it. We need to get that clear first because what is going to turn out according to the goal. So the Course is saying what you should do right now if you're feeling depressed and angry because you know you've been using the plan that don't work, ask the Creator to reveal His plan to us. Then the Course says, in case y'all are wondering what you should do, let me give you the next thing. He says, I want you to ask how. Very specifically, say to Spirit, say to the universe, say to God, ask the higher power, ask love, very specifically, what would you have me do? God, higher power, where would you have me go? What do you want me to do? Where would you have me go? Ask. Now we'll say we got serious issues in our life that we'd like to get healed, right? Okay. If you really are serious about having your healing, then I would invite you to do exactly what you're being told. That you make a point of this week, I'm going to do lesson 71. This is an answer that says, this is saying if I was to do this and do this on a regular basis, if I was to start being okay because I could be helped even if I don't know how the help is going to come. If I could be okay with it's possible for me to be happy without trying to change everybody else and trying to make me happy. If I could rejoice at the idea that all things are possible to the part of me that created me, that the only thing that I need to do is ask, what would you have me do? where would you have me go? What would you have me say? And to whom? In modern language, I do it like this. God, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to say? Who do you want me to say it to? What do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to say? And who do you want me to say it to? See, this is a perfect example of that, right? The first question, what do you want me to do? Well, you want me to teach the Course in Miracles class in this time and space right now. Where do you want me to go? I want you to go over to Unity Temple at 1555 Ray Street. What do you want me to say? What you're saying to them right now about this lesson. Who should I say it to? The people who are there. Notice how smooth this is. Do y'all see me sweating? Right? That's how I know it's God's plan. I'm willing to come here. You don't ever see me phone the class in. I defy anybody that said they've ever come to a class I've done and I phoned it in, because it's my greatest joy. And it helps me remember to be sane when my mind want to take me down that old stupid route of trying to get other people to be the way that I want them to be in order for me to be happy and staying sad because I can't control nobody else. And then I don't love myself enough to get with somebody that care about me in the first place. That's why that was the condition of me getting with them. They couldn't care about me. Because people who do, I don't have time for them. All my time is devoted to the one that's upsetting me the most, or the thing that's upsetting me the most, or the circumstance. That's where my energy is going. My energy is going into my plan, which is why the doggone, why this still happens to me. See, I'm still trying to use my plan. I'm frustrated because I'm trying to use my plan. And so what this is telling me to do is realize that God's plan is going to work. Your plan won't work. You can have an answer in the healing regardless of whether you know how to have that answer or healing or not. All I want you to do is start getting in the habit of asking, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to say? And who do you want me to say it to? I really use the third one when he says, what do you want me to say? What would you have me say? Because many times when I'm listening to people, and that silently I'm going, Holy Spirit, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say to this person? Because the Course says if you really listen, the person will give you their curriculum. If you really listen, they'll actually tell you exactly what they need from you if you will take the time to really listen to what they're saying. And so I'm asking Spirit, what do you want me to say? And then the next thing I've been studying the Course for so long is what I want you to say is what I told you to say in the Course in Miracles about how you should handle a situation like this, because I've covered every situation that you could possibly have and how you could handle it in A Course in Miracles. So, Earl, what I want you to do is say what I told you to say from this material. And so what I want you to say to that person is whatever it is, and what's most important is I want you to say to that person what you want to come to you. That's the answer. I said, what? I said, yeah, always answer people in terms of what you want to come to you. So if I want peace and joy and happiness to come to me, then I'm going to answer you with the goal of having peace and joy and happiness. Everything I say is going to come from the core of I want peace and joy and happiness. That's what I should say. I should say whatever is going to help me achieve my goal, because you're in front of me to give me another chance to achieve my goal. So if my goal is to learn how to listen to you more, every time you're in front of me, you're giving me another opportunity to listen more. So everybody is showing up, bringing me the lesson that I need to learn, but I just need to answer them in terms of what I want to come to me. Because, you know why? Because they are interpreting everything that you're saying, so they're not necessarily hearing what you're saying anyway. They're hearing their interpretation of what you're saying. So what you want to make sure you're doing is saying what you want to experience and what you want to come to you, because they're going to interpret what you're saying however they want to interpret it anyway. You mean, I don't have any control over how you interpreting what I'm saying to you today. No, I don't have any control over how you all are interpreting what I'm teaching today. But I have total control over whether I say something to you that I want to experience. See, notice how when God or Spirit is guiding you, you're always doing what you can do from right where you are. See, I can tell you what I want to hear, but I can't control you all's interpretation of what I'm saying. So I'm successful because I'm not trying to control your interpretation of what I'm saying, and I'm telling you what I want to come to me. That's why I'm telling you about peace, and telling you about joy, and telling you about unity, and telling you about letting go of the ego's plan, because I want that to come to me. I want it to come to you too, but what the truth is telling me is, okay, when you allow it to come to you, that is allowing everyone else around you to experience it. Because when you're feeling good, everyone experiences you feeling good. Nobody's going to want to follow God in the truth that they're not having a good time. And the Course says that. You all don't get it. If your Creator wants you to be a demonstrator and a teacher of love, then the first thing is it has to give you happiness. That your Creator has to give you happiness. Life in the universe has to give you happiness, because how else are you going to demonstrate the good things that happen when you do the truth than for you to have the joy and the peace and the healing that would demonstrate that you have been blessed by the truth. So it's almost like the universe has to give you joy, has to give you happiness, has to give you love in order for you to be a teacher and a demonstrator. The problem is we have made up our own plan, which is trying to control and script everything and everybody outside of ourselves. And he says, while you're doing that and going through the misery and despair of that and looking for the next person you can use the wrong plan, he says that blocks you from being given the happiness that you're looking for. So you need somebody to remind you that only God's plan will work. You need somebody to remind you that the plan of if this were different, I'd be happy will not work. And you need somebody to remind you that if you really want to have all your problems solved, the only part you have to play is to ask, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to say? And who you want me to say it to? And then it says what you do after that is you give the universe full charge of the situation, the practice periods. In other words, you need to then let Spirit tell you what you need to do. First you ask, and then you let Spirit tell you what you need to do. You ask, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to say? And will you please tell me what I need to do? I love it. Let Spirit tell you what needs to be done by you in God's plan for your healing. Because God, your higher self, is going to answer you in proportion to your willingness to hear his voice. What if you said to me, I'm going to answer you, Earl, in proportion to your willingness to listen to me. That's what Spirit said. I'll answer you all, but I'm not going to answer you all any more than you're willing to listen. I'm not going to answer any more to you than you're willing to listen to me, is what the Course is saying, the higher power is saying to us. If you're not willing to listen to me, you won't hear my answer. If you're not willing to listen, you won't know my answer. Then man goes, well, how do I do it? What do I listen? What do I need to listen to? Everything that Earl's been saying from the Course in Miracles the entire hour that he's been talking. That's what you need to listen to. Then he goes, what I want you to do is refuse not to hear. So I'm telling you all right now, I'm refusing not to hear. I want to hear what will get rid of what I perceive as my unhappiness and where I need healing in my life. So I'm going to refuse not to hear. But do you know what? The mere fact that you come into this class and you've been willing to listen to what's been said shows that you have some willingness. You do have willingness. If you didn't have willingness, you wouldn't be here. You have the willingness to listen to God, and you wouldn't be here. You already are willing. And just because you came here, and just because you were willing to listen, the court says, and that's enough for you to claim God's answer. If you want the answer, that's enough for you to claim it, is to realize you had enough little willingness to show up here in the first place, but you're not going to hear your guidance any more than you're willing to listen to it. And you won't be willing to listen to your guidance as long as you're still trying to use your plan. And what is your plan? To try to figure out how everything and everybody else outside yourself and around you needs to be a certain way in order for you to allow yourself to feel good. Nobody or nothing has to be different for you to allow yourself to feel good. Your happiness does not depend on anybody else. Your happiness doesn't depend on anything changing in your outer world. Your peace and happiness doesn't depend on anything outside of yourself, which means you could have it today. We could have it today. What do I need to do? I need to go, God, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to say? Who do you want me to say it to? Reveal your plan to me. I'm willing to listen, because if I'm willing to listen, I'll be able to hear the guidance. So tell yourself all day, tell yourself as often as you can today, Spirit's plan for my happiness will work. God's plan for my salvation will work. The universe's plan for my happiness will work. The all that is, whatever your name is for God, for a higher power, for a greater self. Notice that I'm asking you to call on your higher, greater God self. Why? Because all things are possible to it, and you can have your answer, your healing today, if you would let go of making your understanding how it's going to happen factor into the equation. Stop believing that you understanding how your peace and joy and abundance is going to happen is somehow going to make it happen faster, and begin to give yourself the belief that all things are possible to God. And even if you don't know how the healing is going to happen, the healing can happen. That's the idea that we're being asked to fortify this week by telling ourselves, only God's plan for my salvation will work. Only Spirit's plan for my happiness will work. I know I'm going to be tempted to hold grievances today. I know I'm going to be tempted to hold grievances today. I know I'm going to be tempted to get angry or sometimes depressed or want things to go the way I want them to go. I know that's going to happen today. And so what I'm going to say, see, specific. What I'm going to say when I'm tempted to cuss my boss out, what I'm going to say is, holding grievances is the opposite of God's plan for salvation, and only God's plan will work. Holding grievances is the opposite of love's plan for my happiness, and only love's plan will work. Holding grievances is the opposite of the true plan for my happiness, and only the true plan will work. You just heard what you're supposed to do every single time you know you're tempted to get depressed and angry and upset this week about what somebody's doing. Sometimes you to tell yourself what? Holding grievances is the opposite of God's plan for salvation, and only God's plan will work. Modern language translation, holding grievances is the opposite of the true plan for happiness, and only the true plan for happiness will work. I think I really want to get my problem solved. I think I really want to have a peaceful life. I think I really want abundance and joy, and I'm going to act like I can't say this 6 or 7 times an hour. But yet I think I'm serious about having my situation solved, and I can't do something like this 6 or 7 times an hour. And there's no better way to respond, and there's no better way to spend 30 seconds or less. I know the Course in Miracles is asking for a ridiculous amount of time and devotion. 30 seconds. I know you're busy. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Is 30 seconds? Is it worth it to you to use 30 seconds to solve all your fear, all your pain, all your upset? Is 30 seconds too much to ask? And if you can't give 30 seconds, what is that? What are you saying about your own worthiness? You don't think you're worth 30 seconds? Wow. And so the Course says, remember the source of your peace and see it where it is. So did you just get practical examples of things to do in order for you to have your problem solved? We did. We heard very specific things. And so I need to practice recognizing that, and practice recognizing that my problems can be solved, and I need to be glad about that. See, I got to step up my ability to be grateful and to show some gratitude. See, the Course says you need to practice it. I cheat. Do you know how I cheat? I try to put myself around people who value me and I value them, which makes it easier for me to see their value and for them to see my value. And so it makes it easier for me to stay in a position of gratitude. So don't tell nobody.
Cheater.
I know, I'm a cheater. I know. Just like you, see, I'm surrounded by cool, beautiful people that it's easy to love. And then I can talk about you got to love everybody. How hard is it, you think, for me to love you? None of you care what I do. That's how you show your love for me. You don't try to block my freedom. You don't try to tell me who to be with, who not to be with, how to be, what time I came home last night, if I was with any. You all could care less what I do in my personal life, which means you all really love me. Now, the people who don't are the ones that's trying to control everything I do. They're so afraid they can't let you out of their sight. They got to know every little thing about you every minute. They're terrified and they're calling it love. Whew, it's easy to love. It's hard to be special. Because you got to be on it every minute. Because in specialness, the way we do it, it is all about you being different in order for me to be happy. And we just only trying to change each other and nobody else, we'll call that monogamy. Sleep on that one for a minute. I'm faithful to only trying to change you. That's a full-time job. I don't have time for nobody else. Sorry. All right, so I'm gonna stop here. And but I bet you that you heard something I said. Is that right? Can I assume that I believe in you? Is that true? Did y'all hear something? Did y'all hear something? I love that. Something at least. Something at least.
A few somethings.
A few somethings.
Yeah.
What's really great is when you start trying to use it. I'm really trying to use it. It's a trip how much better I feel. Even if I'm going to do the love offering now. And even if I find myself still wanting somebody to be different in order for me to be happy, it's so weird. If you just say that to yourself, they need to be different in order for me to be happy, you will find yourself feeling more peace. That you'll automatically want to back off that idea. And the next time you get ready to talk to somebody today, try to take a moment to ask yourself, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Those of you online who would love to share, just go to, all you have to do is, what can you use? Well, you can go to my website, www.earlpurdy.com, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, or Square. All you need is my email address, earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. Try to make it easy for you to share if you'd like to. I really appreciate that, more than you can ever realize. I'm available for one-on-one sessions. One-on-ones, I love to take what people think of as their personal problems and then us look at it through the lens of the Course in Miracles and me be able to show them exactly what it is that they have to do to change their mind about that situation and have a different situation. That's so much fun because the Course teaches that application is specific. That if you really want to see the truth work, you have to apply it specifically. See, some people, they just do it generally. I love everybody is really not as powerful as I love you. And so I'm giving this love I'm learning about in this book of not attacking you, being peaceful, not trying to change you. I'm going to apply that to you specifically. It says that's how you get truth to work, is you start with the specifics and then work to the general. She said, well, what we do is the opposite. We make big blanket statements like there's no anger in me or I love everybody and stuff like that, see? But that's when you say stuff like that, I love everybody, then if you're saying that and it's not the truth, then life will show you that you don't love everybody by giving you somebody that's hard to love. It's because you lied to yourself and you said, I love everybody, right? So, but if I went, okay, I'm going to take everything this lesson said today and I'm going to apply it to my friend or to my mother or to my brother. So I'm going to take all these principles and I'm going to try to apply it to at least one person. And if you do that, then it will become real to you, because how real can it be if you can't use it in your own personal environment? How real can any of this be if you can't take it into your personal life? And I guarantee you, if you practice what it's saying, you're going to see the drama level in your life drop to, it'll blow your mind how little drama you have. And then this is what will happen next. When you stop having the outer drama, you will see how much the drama was being caused by your thinking, because you'll still find yourself being tempted to be unhappy just like you did when you really thought you had some drama, because you're so used to it. It is just a habit. And so every time you feel a drama and you feel conflict, then this is what you say, according to the Course. I'm feeling my request for peace. I'm feeling my request for peace. I'm feeling my request for peace. I'm calling for peace. I'm calling for peace right now. 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 So what do you think is going to come to you if you're saying that with all that feeling and emotion? Peace. So when you get angry, instead of people getting angry back, you start attracting a world where people will have compassion for you, and they'll say, oh man, you're scared and angry. You know, what can I do? Because I see your call for love. They won't attack you back. In the old world, when you were going off and acting crazy and mean, the other people act that way back to you. That's our world. I go off on you, you go off on me. The Course is changing it to, when you get angry and upset because you've learned to see it as a call for love, then people answer you with compassion and understanding and support. But I have to say it over and over and over again, and that's why he was telling us today, I want you to spend at least 30 seconds remembering that the plan you heard today will work, and the plan that the world is teaching you will not work. And just stop for a minute, especially when you're afraid and you don't know what to do. Stop for a minute and go, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to say? Who do you want me to say it to? And most of all, get your friends who are into the truth and want to support this idea to remind you that you have the answer that's going to resolve all your conflicts and fears, even though you may not recognize what it is. That your problems can be solved even if you don't understand what the problem is and you haven't been able to fix it. Remember that. You need to have somebody remind you of that. That the outcome is going to be perfect for you. The outcome is going to be peaceful and loving for you. That's what you need to be reminded of. Did you hear that, Earl? Yeah, I'm going to listen to you at least 4 times. Right? Okay. So, I want to invite everybody to come to 1555 Ray Street here in Denver, Colorado, 80206. In person, 1 p.m. Sundays, Mountain Time. I'm available for those one-on-one sessions. Go to my website, and you can self-book a session right online. There is, if you can't change the physical situation, you can certainly be taught how to change your perception of it so that you can have peace. Those are the 2 choices. Either the situation is going to physically change, or you are going to physically change your mind about it and have peace, or the physical situation is going to bring you more peace, or you are going to give yourself more peace no matter what happens, because you're now going to use the plan that works. And I need help remembering that. That's why I do these classes, so that we can remember together, not analyze together. All right. Take a breath, please. I'll give you a minute. We're going to land this plane. I heard the landing gear work, so I hope it does. What would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say, and to whom? What would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say? And who? And to whom? What would you have me say? What do you want me to say? This is the way you would say it. What do you want me to do? 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 Where do you want me to go? Where do you want me to go, God? Where do you want me to go? Where do you want me to go, God? Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Ask, 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 ask. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? And who do you want me to see, to say it to? Who do you want me to say it to? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Who do you want me to say it to? What do you want me to say? And who do you want me to say it to? Holding grievances is the opposite of God's plan. And only God's plan will work. There's no better way to spend 30 seconds. There's no better way to spend 30 seconds than to remember the source and the cause of your happiness. There's no better way to spend 30 seconds than to remember the cause of your happiness. And you can listen to this and watch this online to remind yourself over and over and over again. Your problems have been solved, and there will be a happy ending for you, no matter what you believe. Mighty Companions. And also you can watch my classes on YouTube and Facebook. Please share and subscribe. The last affirmation is, repeat after me. I am juicy and sweet. Together, I am juicy and sweet. That's what I have you say. Let's acknowledge us. Yes! Yes! Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. EarlPurdy.com.